Shriners Children's 500 weekend on the way at Phoenix Raceway as we prepare for the championship preview at this jewel in the desert. This is the Inside Lane. I am your host, Devin Henry, and it is always a privilege to bring on one of the Arizonans making their way through the NASCAR world and making himself find victory lane every here and there as well. Joining us on the Inside Lane, he's the 2008 USAC National Focus Midget Champion, the 2012 ARCA Menard Series Rookie of the Year, and was the first ever Arizona-born driver to win in the NASCAR Cup Series. Driver of the Hendrick Motorsports number 48 Ally Chevrolet from Tucson, Arizona, it's Alex Bowman. Alex, thanks for joining me.
It's a lot of hype. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Dude, you got a lot of hype. You know this already. The Chili Bowl car owner who's made multiple A-mains, multi-time NASCAR Cup Series winner, and right now a three-time dad to rescue dogs. First of all, Huck, I gotta wonder here if Finn has been okay transitioning to seeing a mini-me all the time. And I didn't even know about Merrill joining the family until just like a few months ago. So how is everything going with the new family ordinance going on right now?
So Merle came. Merle is like a stepchild. It's my girlfriend's dog. Um, and he is a lot to do. He has a lot of personality. He's very spoiled. Um, honestly, him and Finn have been great. Finn with Huck was a little bit of a struggle at first. Finn just hated him, didn't want anything to do with him, and now they're best friends. So everything's been good lately. Huck is I Huck is twice Finn's size at this point. He weighs double what Finn does. So uh
Wow.
yeah, I got lied to by the rescue that said he was Golden Retriever Lab mix. He's Golden Retriever Great Dane mix. So
Whoa.
yeah, he's massive. But he's a really great dog. Um, it's been a lot of fun for sure. Little tough to travel with because he's so big. But that's okay. I think if he wasn't big, his personality wouldn't make any sense. So it works out.
I know. So how much time do they get to spend at the racetrack nowadays? So that's a big dog. I mean, Finn and Roscoe was a lot, but I can't imagine like especially bringing all three.
Yeah, so I can only bring one at a time,
Okay.
with the way our flights work out. But I try to bring one pretty much every week except the West Coast races. Like the West Coast stuff is just long flights. The glamorous world of private travel that we have is really convenient to a point. It just takes us really long to get to the West Coast because our planes are pretty slow and they don't have a lot of range. So like to go to Sonoma, we're typically stopping like 2 or 3 times. So it's
Ooh.
a really long travel day. And so anywhere on the West Coast, I just don't want to put the dog through that, like flying the entire day. Um, so like this weekend they won't go, and next weekend they won't go. But other than that, like one of them's coming to the racetrack every weekend and hanging out, and they're pretty good. Huck is a little scared of the noise, and Finn just wants attention, so he doesn't really care. But definitely fun having him at the racetrack.
Well, it's always fun seeing what you and Ally do, especially with Best Friends Animal Society and all of the efforts that you guys put into trying to end basically all forms of putting down dogs and again everyone adopted from shelters. And again, you guys are bringing out a wicked looking paint scheme for Phoenix Raceway. Tell us more about this collaboration, how much you guys are donating every single week to a shelter in the market that you're racing in.
Yeah, for sure. It's been a lot of fun working with best friends, and honestly, I think Ally does her as much of the credit for it. It's been really cool. We're donating $4,800 a week to a local shelter, and if we win, it goes up to 10,000. So hopefully we win to make that happen. But it's been cool. We've raised a ton of money for homeless pets. Like we're closing in on $750,000. So that's been really special, and hopefully we can keep at it. It's been a cool program. Obviously having rescue dogs at home makes that meaningful, makes it hit home. Just trying to help, get dogs adopted, make rescue situations better, and help end kill shelters, right? That's a big problem. So just doing all we can to help.
And now I'm going to make a ginormous U-turn because I was listening to the Dale Jr. download here this week. I finally got to catch up on the Cletus McFarland episode, and I was not expecting an Alex Bowman name drop, especially from Cletus. He was saying that you were the guy that helped get him into the Red Jones racing car for Daytona in the first place. What is your relationship with Cletus McFarland as he's kind of been blowing up the NASCAR world here the past few weeks?
Yeah, we've been buddies for a little bit. I met him in Charlotte, gosh, a long time ago. It must have been 2017, 2016, even somewhere in there. And yeah, we've kind of been a little bit of friends ever since. I've gone down and run the Freedom 500 and the 2.4 hours of lay mullets and all that good stuff down at Freedom Factory. So that's fun. The last time I went, Cletus gave me the slowest car there by a mile and it was blowing up. So I had to pull off. So next time I go, I want a good car so I can actually win because the prizes are all sick and I've never got to win any of the prizes. But yeah, that's been really cool. I think, he needed a little bit of help finding a good team that had a car that he could fit in because he's a giraffe for the ARCA race. And honestly, it was my spotter, Kevin Hamlin, that knew of a car, and we were able to put them together pretty last minute, and glad it worked out. Obviously, I think it might have been the most watched ARCA race of all time ever, and the best booth action that ARCA could ever hope to have. So that was pretty amazing. Really cool. I think, you know, Garrett, like Cletus, the personality, like what you see is what you get. Like he's just a really good guy, and it's a lot of fun to watch him kind of come into competitive racing, right? He's driven a lot of different stuff. He's a great personality, great thing for the sport, has a ton of followers, and he's just a good guy. Like he's a really good guy to be around. So happy to help. I know he's got Biffle helping him out too, which is really cool, and looking forward to seeing what they do next.
That's something very new for Cletus, and also noticed something kind of new for you going on is having Kevin Harvick, you two going drifting. I mean, I know that you've done a lot of the dirt racing. I know that you've done a lot of trying to get on asphalt open wheel too sometimes. And I know, of course, the Cup Series takes a lot out of you. And so now that you're doing some more drifting stuff, I mean, are you just kind of opening and broadening up your world of just trying to figure out what else can I do on four wheels?
Yeah, I've always been into drifting just from being a car guy and enjoying, what drift cars are. They're a ton of power, really cool, ton of different stuff. Like there's all kinds of different cars, right? It's not all the same stuff. Competitive drifting is a little weird for me just with the whole judge sport thing. Like that's hard for me to wrap my hands around. But um yeah, I mean I've had a drift car for 4 or 5 years now, and um it's had its kind of evolution of different stages, but it's been really fun. I haven't got to drive it very much, honestly, just with the schedule and everything. But now with the new 10/10ths track here in town, we got to take Kevin Harvick out there after he made fun of me for spinning out trying to drift a cup car at Coda, or not at Coda, it's Chicago. And um yeah, he spun out the drift car. So I spun out with about 15 degrees of steering angle. He managed to spin out with 80 degrees of steering angle somehow. So yeah, it was really fun to get him driving that. And I think he enjoyed it a lot. I know he enjoyed getting a ride in it. Because they're just way different than people think they are. So it was really fun.
And Chicago, obviously, as you brought up, was a massive win for you last year. And I know that we're still a few hours away from Tucson, but I know that you would love a win here in your home state, Phoenix Raceway, for the Shriners Children's 500 coming up this weekend. I know it hasn't been like the kindest track to you though, but whether it be at the racetrack, around the track, or just visiting here or in November, what's your favorite part about being able to come home besides the Mexican food? I know I talked to everyone. Mexican food's number one. We'll sidestep that right now. What else besides that, maybe?
Um, yeah, I mean, honestly, it's a lot, right? Like I've got to make everybody happy. So you have both sides of the family to see. You've got everybody that wants to come to the track. You've got the fact that we haven't run well there in a long time. So like a lot of studying and a lot going on. I'm actually going out a little early this year, so I'm excited about that. Because I mean, I haven't been to Tucson in like 5 years. So excited to go see what's going on. And uh, yeah, I mean, the weather's going to be great. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm running the Xfinity car this week, so that'll be a fun challenge. And honestly, just trying to make myself better there. Like I've struggled there so badly. I've overthought it. I've done all the wrong things. Like I've made it hard on myself. So excited to go back and kind of know where we need to be. And I think we're in a good spot.
So if you're coming here early, I'm assuming that you mean by that you're going to EG's.
Yeah, there's like a list of places that I need to eat. I'm coming one day early and I have about 9 places I need food from. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, if I don't fit in the seat on Saturday in Phoenix, it's gonna be because of what happens on Thursday.
All right. Well, before I let you go, I will get a little bit more technical because obviously a couple of changes here at Phoenix Raceway. We're bringing back the option tire. We're going to have that softer compound tire. It may or may not become the tire for the championship race in November, but I know we've had this at Wilkesboro, we've had it at Richmond. How do you think this tire is going to change the way we race at Phoenix, or do you think it's just going to be an option, just be like Richmond, where we pick up the tire, we race, it is what it is?
I think it's just gonna play into the strategy of the race, right? Like it's going to give you something that you can use at certain points in the race. If you need to pull yourself out of a hole, probably going to save it to the end of the race if you can. So it'll just depend. I mean, I was talking to Blake in our last meeting, and we bolted the option tire on at Richmond and went a lap down. So it's not always as easy as you bolt this tire on and go faster. Sometimes you go slower. So hopefully we're on the right side of it this weekend. But yeah, looking forward to it. I think as NASCAR and Goodyear have worked together to try to get the tire softer. That's been a good thing. So making this step, having it be the option so you're not stuck on it if it doesn't work is good. And if it works, I think it definitely points to being able to go softer there in the future. So looking forward to that.
Well, Alex, looking forward to having you out here a day early. Excited to see the pictures from EG's and everywhere else I'm sure you're going to go. But have a lot of fun this weekend. Always glad to have you back in the Valley of the Sun, and we'll see you there.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks.
Set for the NASCAR Championship preview here at Phoenix Race for the Shriners Children's 500 this Sunday. Be sure to join us, or if you can't, you can join us on FS1.